Okay, gang, so today I'm going to show you how to use the software Pixlr, which is a free Photoshop website that you can use. So the idea isn't necessarily to make the best thing you've ever done, but sort of explore some of these tools and learn how to use them. So I'm going to go through the tools. I'm going to throw together a couple pictures and just show you how it works, and then you can get creative and pretty much make whatever you want. So I put a link here in your folder. So if you go to your studio art, this will go live eventually, Project 10, Pixlr Online Photo Editing. This is just a way to get there. But technically you can just type in Pixlr and you get there the same way. So this is Pixlr E. If you go out, so you pull the website out, there'll be pictures in here if you're working on something else. Another way to do this is go to Pixlr through Google. You'll see Pixlr X. This is their like simplified version. If for some reason Pixlr E doesn't work on the Chromebook, Pixlr X will. Pixlr E just has a lot more stuff. You can also click their actual website and then find it through here. So advanced, playful. We're going to go advanced just so I can show you more stuff. Then you're going to open an image. So you should have saved some sort of image to your files in your Google Drive. And you can navigate your way to find where that is from the Chromebook. So I'm going to go. I think I have a picture of me and my wife here at our honeymoon. I'm going to work with this to start. So I eventually just want to use my face. So I'm going to cut that out. But this is what I'm going to start with just to show you some of the tools. Okay, so all these will say what they do, which is really nice. So for example, lasso tool, use the freehand polygon bezier or magnetic lasso to create. So if you click on that, you can see there's different types. So this is free form. That means I can draw whatever I want and select an area and it'll do it for me. There's also a way to add more stuff. So if I want to add more to it, let's say I miss a spot, or if I'm trying to do, let's start over. Let's say I wanted these mountains to be selected. And I realize I need some more. I can add to it. You can also take away. So actually, I don't want that one. Get rid of it. So that's what those modes are. So that's the free lasso. This is the polygonal, which means it goes by clicks. Then you've got your magnetic. Magnetic means it's going to cling. Sort of whatever's around it. So it tries to pick up those areas. So those are the different types. Usually the free is better and you can just sort of zoom up on what you're working on. Let's say I'm only working on just my head. Oh, let's go back to this mode. This is a new selection, so I get rid of the old one. Okay, so now that's the only thing selected, and I can do stuff like copy it, and then I can paste it. And then I've got an extra head that I can now move around. You'll notice on this side, there's a button that says layers. The way to think about this is layers are basically like stacking different paper on top of each other, like you're collaging. So if I cut out stuff from a magazine, I set it on top, I can then change the order. So if I had multiple layers here, I can move them around. You can also add your own layers. So if I want to add an empty layer on there, there's a new layer. And then if I go to draw something, there's a paintbrush. Then I decide I want my head in front of that. I can drag this and move it in front. You can move your layers. You can also get rid of just a layer. So if I don't want that one, I can trash it. So we always work in layers. If you draw right on this and then you decide a long time from now you don't want it, you can't undo it because it's trapped on the same layer. So you always want to add more layers. Okay, so that's lasso tool. The next tool is basically the same idea. It's a selection marquee. So same thing, except you've got a square and you've got a circle. So depending on what you're doing for your picture, if you need it to be a certain thing, like I did for my face, then use the lasso. If you want it to be a certain selector or shape, then you're going to go to the marquee select. Same idea. The wand does by color. So let's say I want to do, oops, let's go to my background. I'm actually going to hide this for now. So that little arrow hides it and work on just the background. So if I want to try to pick up, just a certain color. So you can see that's picking up a lot of the white color on there. Or if I want just the black, you can turn this down so that's picking up more than I want. Like if I just want that blue part, you can change the tolerance. So it only picks up like a really specific area. So it gets smaller the lower the tolerance. So let's go even smaller. You can see the tolerance makes a big difference. And then as you turn that up, it's going to select. Now that was too much. That was almost the whole thing. And that's picking up a lot. So that's something to mess around with the tolerance on there. Anytime you got a big selection, you don't like it, I also just go to select, deselect to get rid of any of that. Okay, next one is crop. Cropping is fairly simple. It's exactly like it sounds. You crop something out. So if I wanted to do that, then I would pretty much, let's get rid of this thing. Hit enter, and it's going to crop. So you guys know how that works. Same thing if I want to cut something out. Same idea. There's some different options in here, but nothing we really have to mess around with today. So I'll do that. I actually don't know what this is. Liquify. Okay, this one I haven't done before, but oh, that's creepy. Okay, apparently you can liquefy. My wife would not like that. That one's a new one for me. I've never used that one. So I use the spot healing all the time. So let's see, I have a scar on my face from when I ran into a telephone pole while I was running. So there it is. I'm going to try to tone that down. I'm going to change the size. I'm going to go over it. Let's see if it can heal it for me. So it just got rid of it. Got some blemishes on my face. So some zits here I'm going to get rid of. So the spot healing brush is basically your best friend because it's going to make everything normal. If I got wrinkles, I want to get rid of those. So I basically go through every time I do a photo and I spot heal faces and just get rid of all that stuff. All right, this is the clone. If you want to clone something, so I believe you hold down shift and I'm going to clone just my eye. Oh, maybe it's not just that. I thought it was shift. Source, yes. Opacity 100. There we go. Now I can actually bring out whatever it is and place it wherever I want. So if I just want that eye and I want to make another one right there, or if I wanted to like add a double smile, so you can do some weird stuff with the clone stamp. A lot of people use this to get rid of stuff. Like say I don't want that guy to be in the background anymore. I can select an area near it and I can start to wipe out. I just keep selecting an area. I can eventually get rid of him completely. And then it'll look like just the mountains are in the background. So you'd have to get a smaller brush. So like keep changing the size and eventually get like really close in there and get rid of all that. Okay, the blur, sharpen, smudge. They do exactly what they say. You can blur, you can sharpen, you can smudge something. So if I wanted to blur stuff out, go through and blur it. If I wanted to sharpen, I actually don't really know much about the sharpen. That basically just pixelated, it looks like. And then the smudge, you can blur stuff and bring it out. So those are used more for like lighting effects, depending on what you're doing. Okay, next we have our dodge and burn. Dodge and burn means to make light or dark. So if you wanted to make something lighter, like I say, I want these eyes to show up better because there's shadows in them. That's to lighten. And then if I want to darken something, let's say I want this neck darker so my head pops up. So those are all photo correcting things. You can change just the shadows, midtones, or highlights. You can change the size and you can change how strong it is. Carefully don't go too extreme on this. So like that is basically changing my skin tone. So I don't really want to do that. So watch the strength when you do that. The sponge color, let's see. This is toning down just that specific blue. You can increase, you can decrease, you can change the vibrance, you can change how much color is being put into it. Temperature means like hot or warm. So this again, you can mess around with. I don't really do tons of stuff with that. Pen is exactly like it sounds like. You just sketch with a pen, fills in stuff as you go. So that's a sketchy one. Plain one gives you just a plain line. This one trails it off. I'll do different things. A lot of this is just messing around and learning the colors. If you control, you can select colors too. Or you can pick these little pots of color. Say I want to use red. Okay, there's what I'm drawing. I rarely use anything but the plain one to draw. And then you can change the size. You can change how much color you're using. The brush is the exact same thing. You can change what your brush looks like. Like say I just want to use this for stars. You can put in your own stuff. You can change the brush. It'll work almost like a stamper. Or you can just go into a regular old paintbrush and change the color. I keep hitting Control-Z to get rid of stuff if that's what you're running. Next is erase. So if I want to get rid of anything from the background, I can erase it out. The reason a lot of people will do this is because when you have your layers, once that one comes back, it'll get rid of the stuff behind it. So for example, on this extra layer I have, there's stuff around my ear that I want to get rid of. So using this, I can get rid of all that extra stuff anywhere I messed, and it'll get rid of it. Let's go back some. Color replace. If I want to switch, let's say this red for, or this blue for a different color. Oh, wrong layer. There we go. So I'm getting rid of the blue and changing it to red. So whatever color you start clicking on, I'm holding down my mouse. I'm basically going on and it's replacing those colors for me. I don't know why I started with that line. That was a bad idea. But that's a cool one because you can just quickly go through and change. There we go. Our colors. Actually like the way that looks. I'm going to keep that. So all the blues being changed to reds. Okay, paint fill fills in a whole area. It'll pick out a tolerance so you can change how much you're actually working with. Gradient makes it go from one to the next. I rarely use that unless I'm working on like a special area. So like if I wanted a background to be like that, which I don't want to happen. Shapes, you can make any shape you want. Draw it, make whatever line, pretty simple. Text, yes, I want to add a new text layer. Enter, now I've got my text, I can move it around. Color sampler picks up a color for you. So let's say I really want to work on making like the shirt bigger or something. I can pick that color and then I will have a paintbrush and then I can move that around. You can sample colors. Magnifying glass lets you zoom in and out, but there's also one right here, so you don't necessarily have to do that. And then your hand lets you scroll around and move. If you double click the hand, oh, I guess it doesn't do that. We're gonna have to go through it. On regular Photoshop, you can double click your hand and it brings your picture to center. Okay, so I already cropped out my head, which I want to use. I'm gonna bring in a new layer. So I want to add an image. I'm going to pick it from my files. So you're going to save some sort of background. I think I have a stadium in here somewhere. I've got my stadium. I'm going to make this big. I want my head in it. I'm going to bring my head into the stadium. Okay, this looks crazy. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. I don't need this anymore. I think I have to unlock it. I actually don't know how to unlock this. Usually you just click that little thing. There we go. Okay, that's unlocked. I'm just going to delete that layer. I don't need anymore. I already got my head out of there. Now I'm going to go online. I'm going to look up soccer player. Make sure it's a crisp image. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Whatever. I'm going to add a layer in. I want an image. I'm under pictures. This will all be in your Google Drive /files. Open that up. Whoa. Okay, so I need to change the size. Whoa. Okay, so let's bring this down. If you hold Shift while this is going on, that keeps everything in order. And I want this to actually match up Let's see if I can magic wand it. I picked out a lot of it, but not exactly like I wanted. I'm gonna have to lasso some. Okay, let's pretend I spent a lot of time making this perfect, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to waste all your time on this, but I'm going to, normally I would zoom in and like make sure this is perfectly accurate. I'm gonna add in the soccer ball. Okay, let's pretend that looks great. Then I'm going to do an invert. So I inverted it, so now I'm selecting everything else, and then I'm going to cut it. That's how you get just what you want. The other way of doing that, okay, so let's go back to normal. This is just what I selected, so I just cut everything out. I can do edit, copy, edit, paste, and it'll bring out a new layer, and then I can get rid of the old layer. You can do it either way. I like doing the invert and getting rid of it. It's just easier. If you've got mess ups, which I definitely do, I can take my eraser. Where's the eraser? Here we go. And make sure you're on the right layer. I can start to get rid of all that extra junk that I messed up on. Anytime something's not going right, chances are you're on the wrong layer. So you saw me, I tried to erase something and I'm like, why won't I erase? I was clicked on the wrong layer. I can go back over here and click the right layer and okay, whatever, good enough. All right, now I want this behind my face. So I switch the order. I can't really see everything I'm working on now. And now I'm gonna move this around. So clicking this tool here, your arrange, that lets you move stuff around. I need this way bigger to fit my face. I'm gonna put my face there. Oh, that looks wonky. You know what? Not too bad. Let's shift this a little. Okay, there we go. He looks wide. I gotta fix that. There we go. Okay, you can see there's something on that layer. I must have missed that earlier. Let's hit enter. So let's go back to that layer. There's something on there. So I need to get my eraser out. And those things randomly happen when you're messing around on. So I've got me there. I'm gonna add on, let's change the color. I'm gonna add text layer. Yes, I would like to. And let's add some text. Then depending on the layer, like if I put this behind the stadium, it disappears. So anytime you're like, wait, where'd that go? Check your layer order. I need it in front of that. So that's really all there is to it. A lot of it is just messing around, learning the tools. Ideally for your project, I'd like you to make a background, get an image, do some photo editing on it, and then bring it through and sort of collage some stuff together and just mess around. It is a lot of fun once you get into it. Obviously, I want you to do something school appropriate. So that's something to think about as you go on this project. But it is a lot of fun when you start to get really weird with it. So let's try to put something together. Some of you will be good enough at this, you won't even be able to tell that they're from different photos. Obviously, this is not me, and the proportions off and it's cut out terrible and yada, yada, yada. But I mean, the sign of a good Photoshop artist is that you didn't even notice they're from separate photos. So that's something to think about. So good luck with the Pixlr. Hope you have fun with it. Again, I'm not looking for anything really crazy. I just want you to explore the app and learn the tools. When you're done, you can save it, I think, as a JPEG. Download. Let's see if that works. For some reason on Chromebooks, the saving option on this is just really bad. So before you save, because sometimes, there it is, it will crash, which we really don't want to happen. So you should screenshot. Screenshot the image and then try saving it, because you don't want to save it and have the whole thing crash on you. So save it, take a picture with your phone, whatever. So proof that you did it and that you have it, and then try saving it on there. But that's it. That's how you work Pixlr. Okay.